or Wes Welker.
Can I say? Let me say
anyone
something
on the Patriots.
Let me say something about Tom Brady really fast, and because this is an example, and it's something I hear all the time from fantasy players in multiple leagues, and it's like, well, if I'm playing against one guy in one league, I'm not going to start him in another league, things like that, because they're too torn and don't know how to root. Well, if it's me, I take my lumps, but I always plug in my best lineup. So in this situation, I'm going up against Tom Brady in my main league, but in the league that I'm in with the three of us, I'm starting Tom Brady. Now, had I sat Brady and plugged in Mark Sanchez because I'm going against Brady in another league and I didn't want to root for and against him, I'd be in trouble in both leagues now.
That would not be smart.
Yeah. So you maximize, you know what I mean? You take your lumps. You're going to go up against some big scoring guys every now and then, and just look at the bright side. If you have that guy on a different team, at least you get the points there. So people got to play with their head and not their heart. That's kind of what I always say. So,
not to mention, it's a rarity, and it happens once a season. I mean, basically, or I guess it could happen twice.
Well, I'm in 5 leagues, so it happens a lot. But still,
well, Mark's in 25 leagues. So.
No, not anymore. That's 10 years ago.
Well, how is everyone's leagues at this point? I'm 9-2 in one league in first, 7-4 in second, and 6-5 in the league with you guys in fifth place.
Mark?
It looks, I tell you what, in the league that we're all three in, it looks good for all three of us now, because Pedigo has made a remarkable comeback.
I'm incredible.
I tell you what, he's been kicking you-know-what and taking names, and just opponents falling by the wayside, so I think you're going to make it, dude.
I'm knocking them down. I have a good line. I've been saying that all year. I've got a good team.
There's no question you have a good roster.
And I'm actually in my main league. I'm 8-3, first place, top scorer. I mean, everything's going well in that league. I'm feeling good. And I was doing okay in a few of my other leagues. In the league that we're in with Pendleton Online, I'm the second place team, doing pretty well. The other 3 leagues, though, I've been in the bottom half, and in some cases the very bottom or the bottom 2 all season. But as of late, I've just been coming alive, and I've literally snuck into the playoff spot in all but one of my leagues. So I'm looking actually pretty good. I'm 4 leagues, most likely heading to the playoffs, and a strong team going forward. I'm jacked.
Now, I'm tied with Adam in the CRG. We're both in we're in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm 10-1 in another league, one of my lesser local leagues. And then in the Vegas one, I'm 6-5. But I don't hold my own destiny. This drives me crazy, because the guy in front of me, he has to win the next 2 weeks, and he'll win our division, and I won't get a wild card because there's too many other good teams. So I need him to lose, and I have to win out, and it's driving me up a wall.
And
it's always bad. Yep, it's always bad when you need someone else to lose. It's one thing if you have to win out, but if you need someone else to lose, well, then you got a lot of wishful thinking coming. 529-1450 is our phone number. 529-1450. And Mark, the league that we're actually tied, we're playing each other this week.
Oh, I know.
And so that's definitely gonna
big head-to-head.
It's definitely gonna affect the way our playoff seedings are. I think we're both in, but it's definitely gonna affect the playoff seedings. And since for whatever reason we're gonna have 8 of the 10 teams get in the playoffs, that's gonna be a little awkward.
Hey, I wouldn't want to be the 1 seed. I'll tell you
that. I wouldn't either.
Because I'm most likely going to be the 8 seed, and I'm strong.
I wouldn't want to be the 1 or the 2 in that league.
No.
And I really don't actually like the way it's panning out right now, Mark, if we stay where we're at, because then we play each other around the playoffs.
I know.
That wouldn't be good for you, because I'm going to kill you.
I know. That's just bad.
I'm going to kill you.
And you didn't play Miles Austin this week. Why?
Well,
he's been bad this year.
Vincent Jackson, I decided I'm going to plug him in. I like his possibilities his first game back. But looking back, I should have put Austin.
Doesn't it go back to the, play your studs, though?
I know, but then I have Greg Jennings also. What I should have done, instead of playing Tolbert at flex, I should have played Austin at flex, and I didn't do it. And that's going to come back to bite me in the you-know-what.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting how many people use the flex as a running back position. This season, I have very rarely used that spot for a running back. I am almost always putting in a wide receiver, especially in a PPR.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at in fantasy football right now. It's a passing league. You know what I mean? I mean, it's aerial attack like every game. So, your flex spot, it seems like you're much better off, especially in PPR leagues, like you said, Adam Stark. Get a wide receiver in there. I mean, these guys are more Maybe a running back could go off for a bigger game. You know, some of these games like McFadden or Peyton Hillis has had this year, you know, they can go off for these huge games. But wide receivers, if you get a solid guy, you get a lot more consistent, you know, production from a good wide receiver than you do from plugging in a running back in your flex spot, it seems.
I can't complain. Almost every game this year, my flex player's been Ahmad Bradshaw. So, I mean, he's
complaining.
He's out. So,
well, and that's exactly what changed your roster. Brandon Jacobs has been named the starter this week, but
crazy.
So you put Bradshaw on your bench, you put in Tolbert, but you know this is what I wrote down. As soon as I heard that, I wrote down: is that really going to affect though once the game starts? I mean, you know, Bradshaw's still a good running back, and you know Brandon Jacobs, he's not going to carry the load the whole game. He just doesn't have the endurance for that.
Bradshaw's still going to get touches. But, I mean, this guy's lost 5 fumbles. I mean, that's the reason why he's lost his starting job. So it seems to me like, you know, he's still going to get some touches, but the Ahmad Bradshaw owners need to maybe find another option. I don't think he's a guy you just want to have in your lineup every week anymore. And I think Brandon Jacobs is probably going to be a better start, but I don't know that I'd plug in either one of them, honestly, at this point.
Well, they're playing a very bad team this week.
Yeah.
Either one could get in the end zone.
Yep.
It's a tough call. I wouldn't
Take
play
your
either.
pick.
I wouldn't play either one either. And Mark elected to not play Ahmad Bradshaw this week. So keep an eye on that situation, though, if you own Jacobs or Bradshaw. Also at the running back position, another guy you have on most of your rosters, Mark, MJD. What's the latest on him?
Oh, usually he's been questionable the last few weeks, but this week I guess it really is something in the abdomen, and it really sounds like to me it's iffy whether he's going to play or not. And that's bad news for me.
Well, that's bad news for a lot of people.
Sounds like great news to me.
Jones Drew coming off a huge week, though, last week. Yeah, it does sound like great news to you.
Ahmad Bradshaw may be in the lineup still.
Yeah, well, and not to mention they are playing the Giants. I mean, that's not a good matchup, first of all, for MJD, and then to be banged up and iffy at best. Not good for MJD owners either. Some other big names out there on the injury list. I heard this coming in. Brandon Marshall may not even make the trip.
Yeah.
Doubtful.
Yeah, so
it is doubtful.
So he went to doubtful late last night, but may not make the trip. That's obviously he's not going to play.
Yeah, so he'll only score this week like 4 or 5 fewer points than he usually does. So I mean, you can look at it however you want. I'm a silver lining kind of a guy.
I can tell. So what about Devon Best and the rest of those guys that might be getting the ball this week?
We talked about this a little bit before we went on. I'm actually I'm very low on Devon Best this week. I know a lot of people will think, you know, by default, Brandon Marshall's out, Devon Best becomes the number one. Get him in your lineup. Well, now there's no one else to key on, and Nnamdi Asomugha is going to be all over Devon Best. And sorry, but that is a mismatch. Asomugha is a way better cornerback than Best is a receiver. Plus, you don't know who you're going to be starting at quarterback in Miami. They think Henny's going to play, but there's a chance it's Thigpen because Henny's still a little dinged up. So I wouldn't get Devon Best in your lineup this week. I'd try to go another way. I know a lot of people might think that he's a good play because he's the default number one, but boy, be careful with that one.
I'm talking